And 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from Riprocks and Denton, it's the $1 Million Rookie Paul Wedding. With me as always is Leopold Knopp. And this week we saw Ghostbusters 2016.
Ghostbusters stars Kristen Wiig, and she's a scientist. And it also stars Melissa McCarthy, and she's also a scientist. And they're Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters! It's a Ghostbusters remake, and that's the twist, is that they're ladies. And it's directed by Paul Feig, who all the ladies love because he directed Bridesmaids. Ladies, you love Paul Feig, right? Right? This movie was so goddamn boring.
There's not a shred of originality in this movie. There's nothing creatively done. And you can say, well, it's a remake. Of course it's not, but no, there's been creative remakes. Thing was an incredibly creative remake. Fucking Ben-Hur was an incredibly creative remake. And
which is also being remade.
You've got the two scientist girls who are basically the same, except one believes in ghosts a little more. Leslie Jones is the black stereotype. And then you got Kate McKinnon, who's actually comparatively pretty good.
She did a good job acting.
Yeah.
She developed a character with her body language and with her voice. This is supposed to be the Lady Ghostbusters movie. They cast Chris Hemsworth as to be a sex object, and he did one of the best acting jobs in the movie. In the same ways, he added a lot to his character. I came away blind and deaf for the next 10 minutes. It doesn't mean anything, but the volume is turned way, way up, and the lights are really bright, and it's just in your face all the time.
It's advertised as a comedy, and it's got the action direction of Transformers.
Transformers was much better directed than this. When it got to the action scenes, it was just stupid. Paul Feig is really a very lazy director. He just puts people in frame, and they say their lines, and that's supposed to be the appeal of the scenes. The lines are supposed to be funny, even though there's typically no script and it's improvised, and literally any director would do that. So most of the movie, it's these really long 10-second about shots, just dead on the characters talking. But then when it cuts to action scenes, it goes from this standard pacing to this bonanza that disguises the fact that the action is shit. That one scene where Holtzman went apeshit and killed all the ghosts, that made no sense physically. That was just a montage of unrelated shots.
I feel like it was supposed to be really badass. So what'd you think of those hilarious cameos now?
Oh god, fucking cameo. Every living main actor and secondary and tertiary actor from the original Ghostbusters movie makes an appearance.
Except for the one that I would have been excited for, which would have been Rick Moranis, who is sadly missing from this movie.
I knew there would be cameos. I knew there would be a cameo. I knew in advance that Bill Murray was going to be in it. I was okay with a cameo of Bill Murray, and then they gave him another scene and killed him. And then they had Dan Aykroyd show up. And then they had Sigourney Weaver show up. This kind of dovetails into what's the point of a Ghostbusters remake? What's the point of remakes in general? What do you think they could have done to make it good?
Maybe gone a different route, maybe more, either more serious or even more campy, if that's possible.
I think they were going any route. They just told their actresses to be kooky. That's what Paul Feig does. He doesn't come in with a plan. He just hopes that it works out.
Yeah, this definitely wasn't a woman's movie. You could have swapped the genders of all the main characters and put them in the same movie.
But there was the MRA villain.
The second or third scene, I was like, oh my god, this guy's a men's rights activist. And then he started monologue. He was bullied and nobody liked him.
Girls wouldn't go out with him, so he's destroying the entire world. They didn't slather on the feminism the way I thought they were going to.
Yeah.
But once they got into that, where the villain's whole motivation was that no one likes him, they make a couple references about how you shouldn't read the comments and it's all just trolls on the internet. They're very aware that no one really wanted them to make this movie. They genuinely think no one wanted them to make this movie because they're women.
Yeah.
But no one wanted to make this movie because no one wanted a remake of Ghostbusters. One of my favorite remakes, not as a general movie, but as a remake specifically, was the RoboCop movie that came out a couple of years ago. They took the fears and the paranoia that the original RoboCop was playing on, and they updated it. RoboCop 2014 is tied to 2014 as a movie, the same way RoboCop, the original, is tied to 1987. There's nothing really tying Ghostbusters to 1984, and there's nothing tying this to 2016, except for the gaudy special effects and horrible editing we're seeing in literally every movie this summer.
Last call.
Last call.
How many beers would you give and/or need to drink to see the movie?
I would not give this movie any beers. I think it was very lazily made. I think it's very invasive and it gets really difficult to watch. Maybe I would enjoy this movie with 3 or 4 beers in me and not in IMAX.
I would need 3 or 4 beers in me and a gram of heroin so that I could nod off 2 minutes in. Yeah, I would also give 0 beers to the director.
You're right. With 3 or 4 beers, I would probably just fall asleep partway through the movie.
Yeah.
It's
It'd
so
be very
boring.
hard to stay awake.
It's so boring. I had trouble in the theater
Yeah.
until they gave me the light show.
Leah Knopp, Paul Wedding, Riprocks, Ghostbusters. Cheers.
Have any booze left?